The world forgot you, but God never did. My dear friends, what I'm about to share with you is not simply another spiritual message to momentarily lift your spirits. This is a profound revelation that can fundamentally transform how you understand your place in the universe and in God's heart. While the world may have forgotten you, God never did. Not for a single moment, not for a heartbeat, not ever. Let me share with you the 10 divine truths that Pope Francis reminds us of. Truths that can heal the wounds of abandonment and restore the dignity that was always yours. 1. You are not invisible to the one who matters most. The first truth is perhaps the most essential foundation. While people may walk past you as if you weren't there, dear friend, God sees you, completely, wholly, without reservation or distraction. Pope Francis reminds us that God sees even the silence of your soul, the gestures no one thanks you for, the tears no one witnessed falling. You have never left his sight, not for a single moment. When you stand in a crowded room feeling utterly alone, remember this truth. The creator of the universe is intimately aware of your presence. The universe itself vibrates with recognition of your unique frequency. God doesn't simply see your physical form. He sees your heart's deepest chambers, the wounds you've carried silently, the dreams you've stopped speaking aloud, the contributions that have gone unnoticed and unthanked. Have you ever watched someone search for something that was right in front of them the whole time? We humans are often like that, blind to what stands before us. But God's vision doesn't falter like ours. His attention never wanders. His recognition never depends on your performance or position or prominence. In Psalm 139:16, we read these beautiful words, "Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be." This isn't abstract theology. This is the concrete reality of your existence. Every day, every moment, every breath, seen, known, and cherished. Even when human eyes look through you, divine eyes never stop seeing the masterpiece that is you. Remember that invisibility to others does not equal insignificance to God. In fact, it's often in these seasons of being overlooked that God is doing his most transformative work in your life. The universe continues to align itself around your existence, regardless of who notices or fails to notice your presence. This isn't empty comfort. This is spiritual reality. What might change in your daily experience if you truly lived from this truth? How might you hold your head differently, speak more confidently, move through spaces with more assurance if you deeply believed that the most important eyes in the universe never look away from you? The universe invites you to live from this place of being fully seen. 2. The silence around you is not the silence of heaven. When the phone stops ringing, when invitations cease arriving, when your voice seems to echo in empty rooms, this deafening silence can crush the spirit. But my dear friends, Francisco teaches us a beautiful truth. When everything went quiet around you, God continued speaking. The silence around you is not the silence of heaven. Pope Francis said that God doesn't shout. He whispers to the tired heart. Perhaps the world has stopped listening to you, but heaven has never ceased to hear every word, spoken or unspoken. The universe still resonates with your voice, even when no human ear seems attuned to its frequency. God speaks in the language of quiet persistence, in the repeated sunrise that promises new beginnings, in the faithful moon that illuminates your darkest nights, in the resilient flower that pushes through concrete to reach sunlight. These are not coincidences or mere natural phenomena. They are the universe's way of speaking God's constancy into your experience. They are divine punctuation marks in the ongoing conversation God maintains with you, even when all other dialogue has ceased. Have you ever noticed how in the deepest silence your hearing becomes more acute? You begin to notice sounds you missed in the noise, the gentle rhythm of your own breathing, the distant song of birds, the whisper of wind through leaves. The universe operates on this principle spiritually as well. When human voices grow silent around you, your spiritual ears have the opportunity to tune into frequencies they might otherwise miss. When voices around you have gone silent, train your heart to hear differently. Silence from others creates space to hear the divine whisper that has been there all along, telling you, I am still here, child. I have never stopped speaking to you. I have things to say that can only be heard in quieter spaces. The silence that feels like abandonment may actually be preparation. The universe often creates quiet before revelation. Think of how nature grows silent before a significant weather event, or how a concert hall hushes before the first magnificent notes. What divine symphony might be preparing to play in your life, requiring first this sacred silence? 3. He still calls you by name. In a world obsessed with metrics, followers, likes, views, numbers, your uniqueness can get lost in the statistics. But my friends, we serve a God of names, not numbers. Pope Francis reminds us, to God, you are not a statistic. You are a name, a face, a heart, and he has never forgotten yours. Isaiah 43:1 offers us this beautiful assurance. Do not fear, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. Notice the present tense. Not I called you as a past event, but I call you as an ongoing reality. The universe keeps your name in constant rotation, speaking it back to its creator in an eternal echo. When was the last time someone spoke your name with reverence, with the full weight of recognition, with the acknowledgement that in speaking your name, they were addressing the entirety of your being? God does this constantly. Your name is precious on his lips. It doesn't matter if your name has been removed from invitation lists, if it's no longer mentioned in planning meetings, if it rarely appears in messages of appreciation. The divine conversation still centers your name. This isn't just poetry. This is power. To be named is to be known. To be known is to be valued. To be valued by the divine is to possess worth that transcends human estimation. No matter how many times people have forgotten your name, mispronounced it, or stopped saying it altogether, the universe still vibrates with the sound of God calling you, specifically, uniquely, lovingly, you. Have you ever considered that? Your name sounds different when God speaks it, that he infuses it with all the knowing of who you truly are, who you were created to be, who you are becoming. There is no emptiness in divine naming, only fullness. There is no forgetting in divine recognition, only perfect remembering. The universe maintains this perfect memory of you when human memory fails. Your name continues to matter, to carry weight, to signify presence and purpose in the divine economy. Live as one whose name remains on the most important lips in existence. Cha. Your prayers weren't lost. They were planted. Those prayers whispered in the darkness, those tears that watered your pillow, those desperate pleas that seemed to hit a ceiling and fall back to earth. Were they wasted? Were they ignored? Dear friend, they were neither lost nor ignored. As Pope Francis teaches, God collects each supplication like seeds and waters them at the right time. You will see flowers where today you only see hard ground. The universe doesn't operate on our timeline. Seeds don't become trees overnight. The most precious gems form under immense pressure over long periods. Your prayers haven't disappeared into the void. They've been planted in eternal soil, germinating in ways you cannot yet see. Remember the words from Revelation 8:4. The smoke of the incense, together with the prayers of God's people, went up before God from the angel's hand. This beautiful imagery shows us that prayers aren't ephemeral. They have substance, weight, and purpose. They ascend. They are received. They matter. They aren't measured by immediate results, but by eternal significance. Have you ever planted something and forgotten about it, only to discover it flourishing weeks later? The universe often works in this pattern spiritually. What seems dormant isn't dead. It's developing. What appears unproductive is actually undergoing profound preparation beneath the surface. The seeming silence isn't divine negligence, it's divine cultivation. Perhaps you've stopped praying because it seemed futile. Perhaps you whisper your desires with less conviction than before. But I urge you, my friend, don't misinterpret divine timing as divine indifference. The universe is not silent. It's pregnant with the answers to prayers you've forgotten you even prayed. What if the greatest answers are still germinating? What if your most honest prayers have been taken the most seriously, requiring the most careful cultivation? What if God's seeming delay is actually divine dedication to giving you not just what you asked for, but what your heart truly needs? 5. You're still part of God's plan, even if others walked away. Abandonments hurt, silences wounded, betrayals left scars, but none of this removed you from God's original plan. Francisco believes that purpose never expires. You're still in the script, and He's still writing with you. Brothers and sisters, may the peace of God be with you. If you're enjoying this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. Your opinion is sacred to me, as it helps me continue this mission of spreading light, faith, and hope. My dear friends, let me share something profound with you. When Maria, a 72-year-old widow from a small coastal town, found herself completely alone after her husband died and her adult children moved to distant cities, she felt her purpose had ended. For 50 years, I was a wife. For 30 years, I was an active mother. Now who am I? What purpose do I serve? She would ask herself each morning, facing days that stretched empty before her. The universe seemed to have written her out of its story. But through reconnecting with her faith and embracing Pope Francis's teachings about the sacred role of elders, Maria discovered a new chapter waiting to be written. She began visiting the local children's hospital, where her decades of experience calming and comforting children proved invaluable to overwhelmed parents and medical staff. I realized God never finished my story, she told me with tears in her eyes. He just turned the page to a new chapter I couldn't have imagined. Jeremiah 29:11 reminds us, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Notice that when circumstances change, God's plans don't. People may walk away, but God never abandons His purpose for you. The universe hasn't forgotten your assignment. Have you ever noticed how the most compelling stories contain unexpected turns? The protagonist faces abandonment, loss, seeming failure, and then these very challenges become the soil from which new purpose grows. The universe authors your story with this same creativity. What looks like an ending may be the necessary setup for an unexpected new beginning. Your purpose wasn't tied solely to those who left. You are still carrying divine potential that hasn't expired. The script of your life continues to unfold, and God is still the author who sees beyond this difficult chapter. The universe continues to make space for your unique contribution. Nothing about your essential purpose has been cancelled. It has only entered a new phase of expression. 6. Being forgotten by the world doesn't mean you're without worth. Not having spotlights, invitations, or compliments doesn't diminish who you are. Pope Francis defends that the purest hearts are those that shine far from the stages. The value that the world ignores, heaven celebrates. There's a particular pain in feeling your worth has diminished with your visibility. Society often equates significance with attention, value with visibility. But the universe operates on different principles entirely. Your worth was established long before anyone's recognition and remains undiminished by their forgetfulness. Think about the most precious things in the universe. They're rarely on display. The most vital organs in your body are hidden beneath skin. The roots that sustain mighty trees remain underground. Diamonds form in darkness. Your worth functions the same way, essential, vital, and often unseen by casual observers. Jesus taught this principle when he said in Matthew 6:6, "But when you pray, go into your room, close the door and pray to your Father who is unseen. then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you. The things of greatest spiritual value often happen beyond the world's observation. The universe cherishes what happens in hidden places. Have you noticed how the most genuinely valuable things don't require constant validation? Gold doesn't stop being gold when no one's admiring it. A masterpiece painting doesn't lose its artistry when the museum lights go off at night. Your worth functions this way too, intrinsic, unchanging, independent of observation. My friends, what if this season of being forgotten by others is actually an invitation to rediscover your intrinsic worth? What if, freed from the exhausting performance of earning approval, you could finally experience the liberation of being valued simply for existing? The universe already affirms your worth. God has never questioned it. What changes might occur in your life if you lived from this truth? How might you carry yourself differently? What peace might settle into your spirit if you stopped measuring your value by metrics of recognition? The universe invites you into this freedom. 7. You're not just remembered. You're needed. God doesn't merely remember you. He still counts on you. Francisco said that the elderly aren't remnants of history. They're living roots. You still have something that no one else can offer. This truth confronts the painful lie many of you have believed, that being forgotten means being useless. Nothing could be further from reality. The universe doesn't create obsolescence. It creates evolution. Your role may have changed, but your necessity hasn't. Consider the olive tree, which becomes more gnarled and twisted with age. Does it produce less fruit? No. The oldest olive trees often produce the most flavorful olives with the richest oil. Their value increases with time. The universe has designed you with the same principle in mind. Pope Francis specifically champions the vital role of elders, saying they are not leftovers, but rather bearers of dreams, memory, and roots. He sees older generations not as problems to be managed, but as treasures to be honored, necessary contributors to society's wholeness. The universe requires your continued participation. 1 Corinthians 12:22 offers this wisdom. On the contrary, those parts of the body that seem to be weaker are indispensable. The universe operates on this paradoxical principle. What seems dispensable to human estimation may be absolutely essential in the divine economy. Have you considered that what makes you feel overlooked may be exactly what makes you irreplaceable? The slower pace that frustrates you may be precisely what's needed in a world spinning too fast. The old-fashioned values that make you seem out of step may be the very grounding others desperately need. The stories only you remember may preserve wisdom that would otherwise be lost to time. Your experience, wisdom, patience, perspective. These qualities are desperately needed in a world spinning faster every day. You haven't been forgotten because you're unnecessary. Perhaps you've been overlooked precisely because what you offer isn't flashy enough for a distracted world, but it remains absolutely vital. The universe still needs your unique contribution. 8. The loneliness you feel is an invitation to intimacy with God. The loneliness that pierces your heart isn't a punishment. It's a calling to retreat into the arms of the one who has never abandoned you. Francisco teaches that sometimes God silences the world just to be able to speak more closely. You're not alone. You're being attracted. This perspective radically transforms how we understand loneliness. The universe doesn't create pain without purpose. What if the empty spaces in your life aren't signs of divine neglect, but divine invitation? In the noise of constant connection, many souls miss the whisper of eternal love. But you, in this unique position of having fewer distractions, have the opportunity to experience a depth of divine intimacy others may never know. The universe has created a sanctuary in your solitude. Hosea 2:14 captures this beautiful principle. Therefore, I am now going to allure her. I will lead her into the wilderness and speak tenderly to her. Notice the progression. allurement, wilderness, intimate speech. God doesn't lead us to lonely places to abandon us there, but to speak to us there with unprecedented tenderness. The universe creates these wilderness spaces, not as punishment, but as preparation for deeper connection. Have you ever noticed that the most profound conversations rarely happen in crowded rooms? That the deepest connections form in quiet spaces where hearts can truly speak? The universe applies this principle spiritually. What feels like isolation may actually be divine intimacy in the making. My dear friends, what if you reframed your loneliness as sacred space? What if the absence of human voices has been allowed precisely so you could finally hear the divine voice that has been speaking all along? This isn't spiritualizing pain. This is recognizing the mysterious ways the universe often works through our deepest struggles. What treasures of intimacy might be waiting for you in this quiet valley? What aspects of God's heart might you discover here that you could never have known on the noisy mountaintop? The universe has not abandoned you to loneliness. It has invited you into a deeper form of communion. 9. Your light was never meant to go out. Just because no one appreciates it doesn't mean your light has gone out. Francisco believes that true light doesn't depend on applause. It shines because it comes from the soul. You still carry light. Perhaps the world doesn't see it, but someone needs it. The universe operates on principles of conservation. Energy cannot be destroyed, only transformed. The light within you functions similarly. It doesn't extinguish because it lacks an audience. It doesn't dim because it goes unnoticed. Its source isn't external validation, but internal truth. Jesus taught in Matthew 5:14-15, "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house." Notice that being light is a statement of identity, not activity. You don't become light by being seen. You are light, whether seen or not. The universe recognizes this essential quality in you, regardless of who else does. Have you ever been in a power outage and discovered that even the smallest candle transforms a room? That's how your light functions in this sometimes dark world. What seems inadequate to you may be transformative to someone stumbling in darkness. The universe positions your light precisely where it's most needed. There's something powerful about light that shines without recognition. It's pure, untainted by ego, motivated by essence rather than effect. The universe honors this kind of authentic radiance far above the flashier varieties that burn for attention. My friends, your light matters enormously. In a world growing darker with cynicism, fear, and isolation, the steady glow of souls who continue to shine despite being overlooked is precisely what this world needs most. Someone in your orbit, perhaps someone you haven't even met yet, desperately needs the particular quality of light only you can emit. The universe has positioned you as a necessary illumination. 10. God, remembering you, is enough to begin again. Everything may seem too late, but if God still thinks about you, and He does, then it's never too late to start again. Francisco reminds us that a heart that opens, even in pain, can change everything. God hasn't forgotten you. He's waiting for you. The universe operates, and on principles of renewal. Nothing truly ends. It transforms. Seasons cycle. Day follows, night follows day. Death gives way to new forms of life. This pattern isn't random. It's revelatory of how God designed existence itself. Nothing is beyond redemption or renewal. Lamentations 3:22-23 tells us, "Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for His compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness." Notice the time frame. New every morning. Not just once. Not just for special occasions. Every single morning offers fresh compassion. New beginnings. The universe vibrates with this constant renewal. Have you ever noticed how nature never gives up? How the smallest crack in concrete becomes an opportunity for a seed to grow. How forests regenerate after fire. How wounds heal, forming new skin. The universe has woven this principle of regeneration into every aspect of creation, including your life. Is there a dream you've set aside, believing its time has passed? Is there a relationship you've stopped investing in, assuming it's beyond repair? Is there a part of yourself you've neglected, thinking it's too late to nurture it now? The universe operates on a different timeline than human expectation. While time moves forward, redemption can reach backward, transforming what you thought was finished into something just beginning. My dear friends, God's memory of you isn't passive recollection, it's active invitation. It's not nostalgic remembrance of who you once were. It's present recognition of who you are and prophetic vision of who you're becoming. The universe continues to create space for your continued becoming. I'm so happy to have you here with me. If this message is touching your heart and you're still here with me, type 2 in the comments. That way, I'll know you're walking this path of faith, seeking growth, reflection, and wisdom, as Pope Francis taught us. Have you ever experienced that peculiar pain of becoming invisible, of watching the world continue as if you were never an essential part of it, of feeling the ache of silence where once there was connection and conversation? The universe hears this questioning in your heart. Let me remind you of what we've discovered together on this journey. You are perpetually seen by divine eyes that never sleep or look away. The silence around you is merely creating space for a deeper voice to be heard. Your name remains precious on God's lips. Your prayers aren't lost but planted, awaiting their season of bloom. Your purpose remains intact despite abandonment. Your worth was never tied to recognition. You are not just remembered, you are needed. Your loneliness is an invitation to unprecedented intimacy. Your light continues to shine with pure authenticity, and because God remembers you, beginning again is always possible. My dear friends, this isn't just spiritual theory, this is practical truth. By embracing these realities, you open yourself to living with greater purpose, deeper peace, and more authentic joy. The universe itself conspires to remind you of your worth when you align with these divine principles. When you begin each day knowing you are seen, you move differently through the world. When you understand your prayers are planted rather than lost, you pray with renewed hope. When you recognize your purpose continues despite others walking away, you pursue it with fresh determination. When you grasp that your worth was never dependent on recognition, you stand taller in your authentic identity. When you accept that you're needed, not just tolerated, you offer your gifts more confidently. When you reframe loneliness as divine invitation, you find companionship in surprising places. When you remember your light continues to matter, you shine without apology. And when you embrace that it's never too late to begin again, you step forward with courage into new possibilities. Pope Francis compassionately teaches us that we are never defined by who forgot us, but by who remembers us. When you understand this truth, really understand it in your bones, you discover a kind of freedom the world cannot give or take away. You find a foundation that doesn't shift with changing circumstances or fading attention. The universe anchors you in this unchanging recognition. This transformation isn't just about improving your emotional state, though it will. It's not just about finding more balance, though you will. It's about connecting to a spiritual reality so profound that it changes how you move through the world. It brings a kind of fulfillment that doesn't depend on external validation, steady joy that persists even when human approval is withdrawn. The great paradox is this: it's often when the world forgets us that we discover who we truly are. It's in the absence of human affirmation that we find divine confirmation. It's when external voices go silent that we finally hear the eternal voice that has been speaking all along. The universe creates these sacred moments of forgetting so that we might experience deeper remembering. My friends, don't keep this message to yourself. Share it with that sister who feels pushed aside as she ages. Share it with that friend whose children have grown and gone. Share it with anyone whose light has dimmed because they believe they no longer matter. The universe expands when truth is shared. Let this message be a lighthouse for those navigating the stormy waters of feeling forgotten. Let it be a compass for those who have lost their direction in the wilderness of invisibility. Let it be a warm hearth for those chilled by the cold of neglect. The universe has positioned you not just to receive this truth, but to transmit it to others who desperately need to hear it. May God bless you. Type Amen in the comments so I know you stayed with me until the end. Subscribe now and turn on the notification bell. That way you'll never miss a new heart-touching message. I'll see you in the next video.